Hi guys, hello and welcome back to another YouTube video. This is Preeti, the Sassy Book Squirrel, and I make bookish content on this channel. So if you are a book lover, you should consider subscribing to my channel. So today I have the February wrap video for you guys. I know it is a bit late to be doing the February wrap, but due to some technical issues, I could not post the video that was shot earlier, and I had to make a whole new video again. So I'm sorry about being late, but better late than never, right? So without any further ado, let's get started. Okay, so first things first, ignore my background. I'm not shooting in front of my bookshelf today because there's something going on in that room, and yeah, it was a bit of inconvenience to shoot there. So yeah, today I have a set of 11 books that I'm going to be doing a wrap for. So I read 11 books in February, and 6 of them were physical copies and 5 of them were ebooks. So these are the physical copies that I have with me for review, and the rest of them will be ebooks. And when I'm talking about them, I'll probably put a picture up here, so it'll be easy for you to relate. And one speciality about this month especially was the fact that except one book that I chose randomly out of the moon, all the other 10 books were either sent to me by the publishers or the authors, or they were giveaway copies, or they were just review copies, all of them. So as you see, all of these books were sent to me for free, and all of the ebooks were also either review copies or sent to me for giveaways. So let's get started. I will first go through the books that I have with me, the physical copies, and then we can talk about the ebooks just for convenience sake. Yeah. So the first book I have here is Dark Retributions by Marjona. So this book is about a couple who gets stranded in the middle of the night in a horrible place, and it's raining cats and dogs, and their car breaks down. So the husband goes in search of help, asking the wife to stay in the car, and he doesn't return for quite some time, and the wife is restless. She wants to go find out where her husband is. So she goes in search of him, and she ends up in an abandoned school where she finds her husband, and eventually they both get killed. They get killed in a very unnatural and strange way, and after that there are a series of other murders also that happens. So there is this investigator who turns up to solve this case, and she happens to have a superpower where she can talk to spirits and she can see spirits. So yeah, where the case goes from there, how she solves the mystery, and who hated this couple so much that they killed them in the most unnatural and weirdest way. And it's like a fight between the good and the evil. So how this case is solved and what is the motive behind these murders, that is the story of Dark Retributions. And trust me guys, just like the cover, the book is also very spooky. It is a bone-chilling read, and if you like horror, especially paranormal horror, then this book is for you. You should definitely give it a try. I rated this book 4 on 5, and I'm not a person who reads much of horror, so this was a very new genre for me, and this book was sent to me by the author herself. Thank you, Jemima. Jemima is a very good friend of mine, and I'm so proud of her work. And one main reason you should be picking up this book is because this book has great vocabulary and an amazing writing style. You will have no idea that this was written by an Indian author, if not, for the name. You will never know. So it is so flawless. Hats off to the editor and to Jemima for this amazing piece of work. The next book I have here is Mustang, and this book is written by Vineet Bajpai. So Mustang is the story of a person called Subedar, who is a patriot, as well as he has great battling skills, for which he's called the Mustang lovingly by everyone. And Mustang is a historical fiction book by Vineet Bajpai, And this author is famous for his other book, Harappa. I'm not sure if that is a series, but Harappa is a very famous book on its own. In fact, there is a sequel coming out for this book as well. So this book takes you to ancient Delhi. It gives you this nostalgic feeling of pre-independence and what happened during the times, and how, Mustang played a part in it all. And this also has a lot of events, and there are bits about Mangal Pandey and Rani Lakshmi Bai and stuff like that. And this book is also very beautifully written. So I guess I gave this book 3.5 on 5. I'm not very sure. So yeah, this was a pretty decent read from Vineet. So that's that. And guys, there is a whole review video for Dark Retributions on my IGTV. So if you are interested, and if you are not following me on Instagram especially, I will give a direct link to the review and to my profile on the description. So please check that out. The next book I have here with me is Urban Chronicles. This is a Hindi book, and this is a graphic novel. If you can, let me show you. So it's like this. I think graphic novel is a very fancy name to say, but this is more of a comic. I read the English version of this book way back in August 2020, and it is a collection of 3 short stories. I think one is called Balcony, one is called Smell, and the other one is called Mrs. Ramachandran. This involves 3 different women from 3 different families and their lives in the metro, what happens in their day-to-day life, and stuff like that. And I love reading graphic novels and comics. So I studied Hindi way back in school. I can speak and write Hindi very fluently. I have friends who speak Hindi with whom also I can, converse. But I haven't picked up a Hindi book for a long time now. It's been a really long time since I read a Hindi book. So when I was contacted by the publisher, to check out if I wanted to read the Hindi version, I quickly grabbed it because I really wanted to read a Hindi book, and the translation in this book is to the point. Though I've already read this comic, it was really interesting to kind of refresh and read this one again. So I think this was also a 3.5 or 4-star rating for me. There's nothing wrong with this book. There is just absolutely nothing you can find wrong with this book. It's beautifully written, beautifully translated, and the stories are also very cute. So yeah, if you read Hindi, you can check out the Hindi version of this book, or if you want to check out the English version, that's also possible. So that's that. The next book I have here is The Cerberus Affair. This is by Charlotte Valentine. This book was sent to me by the author herself, and this was a gift that I got from a giveaway that the author hosted on her page. This is a debut novel, and guys, this book was really good. And if you like Danielle Steele books, then this book will definitely attract you, because I had the feeling that Charlotte had a lot of Danielle Steele touch in her writing, and the story, the plot line, everything was great, and it did not feel like a debut novel, in fact. So this book is set in London, and so there's this person called Adam, who is a junior health minister, I guess. So he dies, and his friend Catherine, who is an investigate journalist, goes on a hunt to find out the murderer. She has all reasons to believe that this was not a natural death, but a murder. So she goes on and finds the mystery behind this murder, and she in turn finds out a lot of stuff happening with their government and the pharmaceutical industry and stuff like that. And eventually she meets this person who is a professor slash research scientist at the University of London, and he has a small role also to play with the murder, though not directly. And they fall in love, and the love between Catherine and Clayton, the relationship that Clayton is this professor, by the way. So the relationship that Clayton has with his mother, and the relationship that Catherine has with her best friend and stuff like that are beautifully captured, you guys. this book has given so much importance to all of the characters, and that is what I really loved about the book. Not just the protagonist, but even every single side character in the book is, you know, so concentrated and well developed that you will remember them for ages to come. So that's the kind of writing. And again, there's going to be another book following this. There's going to be a sequel called They, I guess, and I'm not sure when that is going to be releasing, but I definitely will pick up any book that Charlotte writes. She kind of goes to my auto buy authors list. And before I go on to the next physical copy, there were two other books that I read by Charlotte Valentine. They were two e-books that were sent by her. So one of it was called The Late Night Shots. The other one was called Unlocked. So Unlocked is, both of them are a collection of short stories. And I think only one or two short stories were written by Charlotte herself. All the other short stories in this collection are by different authors around the world, and these are stories that were written during the pandemic, during the lockdown period. So you can call them lockdown stories. So each story is just about a few pages long, and there is a whole bunch of stories that have been collected and published as a book. Charlotte has done the editing for this, and that book was pretty decent. I think I rated them 3 and 3.5 each. None of the stories really, hit me hard, and there weren't many favorites, or I couldn't remember them long after I read. So that's the reason I rated them 3 and 3.5. But the proceedings of the book goes to the COVID patients and relief of COVID, and that is a great thing for Charlotte to do. And I really, really appreciate the fact that she decided to publish those books by giving so many authors the chance for their short stories to be, coming to light. And this book was a 4-star rating for me, 4-star read, but it could have easily been a 5-star if not for it being a bit of a slow burn. So that's that. The next book I have here is the Tantric Exorcist. This book was also sent to me by the publisher, or rather I won it in a giveaway. The Tantric Exorcist is a modern retelling of Vikram Vetal. And this book is about a college student called Vikram. It's set in Tamil Nadu. There are a lot of regional language usage. There's a lot of Tamil phrases, and you will kind of go back to the days of watching Vikram Vetal on television. If you have watched it, I grew up watching it. So unfortunately, I did not finish this book. I DNF'd it. I feel very guilty about it, but probably I will pick it up sometime later. I want to give this book another chance, so I will try and see if I can finish it. But somehow the plot and the execution did not work well with me, so I did not finish this book. The last physical copy that I have here, the hardcover, I love doing this, right? So this book was sent to me by Simon & Schuster. Simon & Schuster, isn't it? Let me check. Yeah, Simon & Schuster. So this book is called The Forgotten Ambassador in Cairo, and this is the life and times of Syed Hussein. So Syed Hussein is an unsung hero. So he was born in Calcutta. He was a very bright student. He had such command over his English. He spoke flawless English language that his own teachers recommend to his parents that he be sent to England to study. And so begins Syed Hussein's journey in London. So he goes to England, he finishes his studies there, and then he becomes a journalist. He makes friends with a lot of scholars and gentlemen there. And then from there he moves on to America, where he stays for about 24 years before he comes back to India. And there are a lot of events described in this book of independence, and how he became an ambassador, and how he later goes to Egypt as an ambassador of India, and how he dies right from his birth to his death. And this is a very, very well researched biography, you guys. There is a very clear appendix at the end. So many letters, and if you can see, there are real life pictures of Syed Hussein, right from his times in England, his times in India. There are so many. I'm not sure if the camera is picking it up. Some of them are black and white, but yeah, he worked in Independence, the Independent, that's what it's called, I think, the paper. So a lot of real life letters have been shared, and even the names of places. So if you see, I'm from Chennai, but Chennai was not called as Chennai a couple of years ago. We were called Madrasis, because we were from Madras. That's what Chennai was called. So there is a whole glossary and sections for places, their old names, their new names, and the sources to the research. This book took a really long time for me to finish. It is a very fat book, if you can see. Okay, ignore the fact that it is a hardcover, but even otherwise the font is really small, so it is a big book, and you cannot read it unless and until you are a fan of history or biography, and you like reading about the independence moment or anything related to Indian history. Then you will enjoy this book. So this book was sent to me by the publisher for review, and thank you so much, Simon and Schuster. I really enjoyed this book. So that brings us to a close with all the physical copies, and I think I already talked about two of my ebooks as well, right? So I talked about Unlocked, and I also talked about Late Night Shots. So that is 8 books, I think, right? So we have 3 more books to talk about. So 7 by Prashant Kaul. So this was called 7 True Stories. This was written by Prashant Kaul. This book hardly takes an hour for you to finish, because it's less than 50 pages, I believe. I read the Kindle version of this book, and honestly, it did not make a big impact on me. None of the stories were really, rememberable, if that's even a word. I don't know. I cannot remember any of those stories after I've finished the book. And also the style of writing I felt was a bit immature, so I rated the book 3 on 5. And the next book is by Deepak Kaul. It's called 49 Shades Confused. So this book is about a guy who gets inspired by the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy, and wants to try out BSDM practices, and goes on a hunt to find a partner who would cooperate with him for BSDM. So I know it sounds really weird. I picked it up without knowing the blurb. Yeah, that was a review copy as well, and I don't know. In the beginning of 2021, I told myself that I should come out of my shell and read books that I haven't, the genres that I haven't explored before, that I should come out of my comfort zone and pick up such books that, I have never tried before. And maybe I would have tried, or maybe I would not have tried if I had read the blurb. I'm not even sure. But this book was really weird. I have read the 50 Shades of Grey trilogy, all 3 of them back to back, and I didn't feel this weird. I don't know why, but this book kind of made me uncomfortable, and I don't know. I don't know if there's something wrong with the book or it's just me. So I rated the book 3 on 5, you guys. And the last book and the best book that I read in February, it's called Happily Ever After. So this is the only book that I picked up out of my own choice. As I said, the other books were all gifted copies or review copies or sent to me by publishers, stuff like that. But this book, right, I was just browsing through the internet for something, and I bumped into this book, and I immediately had to just purchase it. So this book was really cute, and what attracted me to this book was the fact that the first line of the book said, and then I married my best friend for 6 years or something like that. And if you guys know me, I married my best friend from school, and we knew each other for at least 12 years by the time we got married. So yeah, that one sentence made me pick up this book. And trust me, you guys, any married couple or any couple will be able to relate to this book so much. It's a lot of fun. It is a graphic novel. It's quite a short read. You can finish it in, a couple of hours, and it was a really sweet and cute book. You will be able to relate yourself to so many instances. In the beginning, I thought I should screenshot some of the, conversations that the couple have, the arguments that these couple have, so that I could show my husband in the morning when he wakes up. But then eventually, I found out that I was taking more screenshots than I was reading, because every bit of it was relatable. And yeah, I found it really, really, really funny how when two best friends get married, what kind of arguments they have, what kind of, how do they live? Like, if you guys have to pick up this book. And I rated it 5 on 5. And by the way, I rated Forgotten Ambassador in Cairo, I rated it 4 on 5. Again, this book was a bit long. If not for it, I think there is nothing you can pinpoint as negative from this book. It is a very, very well researched book. So that was a 4 on 5. So I think that brings us to a close. I think I've pretty much spoken. Let me check out, you guys. I had some notes here with me. Yeah, I think pretty much covered everything that I had to say. So I think from the next month, I will probably make these videos way ahead of time. And this month for March, I am reading women-centric books or books by women authors. I'm also participating in the Femme March at Womaniat. It is an initiative by the Womaniat. And if you are not, following them, you should check out their Instagram page. And this is a really fun thing to do, because I am someone who doesn't read a lot of Indian authors at all. It's just now that I'm beginning to read Indian authors. And this March prompt by Womaniat has, Indian female authors as their theme. So I'm picking up a lot of Indian author books. And yeah, I will be making a March TBR with them and with those books. So yeah, stay tuned. And if you have not clicked on the subscribe button, it's high time you do it, because yeah, I'm not that bad at making videos. And please hit the notification icon so that you get notifications whenever I post my videos. That's all, you guys. Thank you for watching, and bye bye.